Today I'm going to show you how to make a Cara Cara lemon cake. This is absolutely delicious. You can use a drizzle on top or you don't need one at all. It's entirely up to you. Here is the ingredients, but don't worry, I'll include a link below. That will give you full nutrition information and more details as usual. You want to begin by preheating your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius. Next we're going to zest a lemon and an orange. And you want these to be clean, but don't use soap on them. If you have to use anything, use vinegar. I'm using a medium lemon. It's about 58 grams. And you only want to zest until you see a pale yellow. Don't go until it's white because it can become bitter. And you're going to zest the orange the exact same way, about 130 grams, the medium orange. And I got this orange called a Cara Cara. If you've never seen it before, I'll show you in a few minutes. It's absolutely beautiful when you cut into it. It's got this beautiful grapefruit color to it, and it's a little more sweet and yet sour than a traditional orange. It's actually one of my favorite oranges now, and I happened to run across it by accident alone. Thought I was picking up a regular orange, and I got this, and ever since then I'm addicted to these things. If you roll your orange and your lemon like this on the palm of your hand, it just helps you juice it. That's why I'm doing it. And look at this. Is this not the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen? It looks like a grapefruit, but it is an orange. It is wonderful to eat. I actually hate to make this for a cake because I would rather eat it. And we're just going to squeeze this into a cup, and it gives you about a quarter cup of juice, give or take. And if you didn't have a juicer, you're going to have to run it through a sieve to catch all those bits and bobs like the pulp and the seeds that may be in the orange and lemon. Next, we're going to put in a quarter cup of sugar. White sugar will work, 50 grams, and you want to mix it until it's dissolved. Now, if you like, you can completely skip the sugar, which I do a lot of times. The sugar just helps it adhere to the cake a little bit better. Next, you're going to line with parchment paper or grease and flour a 9x5 loaf pan or 23 by 13 centimeters. Next, in a small bowl, let's whisk together 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 6 grams, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 grams, and 1½ cups of flour, or 225 grams. In a large bowl, we're going to mix together 4 eggs, 200 grams, and we're going to do this briefly and add in 3/4 of a cup of oil, 180 milliliters. Any type of oil you want to use is fine, olive oil, canola, whatever you like. You can even use coconut oil. Mix this together briefly. It takes about 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to add in some sugar. Now I'm adding in 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 150 grams. You can go up a quarter cup or go down a quarter cup. Just try the 3/4 of a cup and see how you like it. And finally, we're going to put in that flour mixture. This takes only about a minute to mix. After that, you want to mix it until you no longer see lumps. And the batter will be really nice and smooth like this. It's going to be a nice pourable batter, which will level out nicely. Next, we're going to add in the zest that we had made earlier. And it's about 1 gram for the lemon and about 2 grams for the orange. It can be a little bit less or a little bit more because each orange is going to be a little bit bigger. And if you like, you could also put in a teaspoon of extract if you want to really amp up that flavor. The next thing we're going to do is pour this into our prepared pan. Again, make sure that it is aligned with parchment paper for easier removal, or at least grease and flour it nicely. Once you pour this into the pan, you're going to bake it for 50 to 60 minutes or until the center of it comes out clean with a toothpick, or you're going to reach 205 or 96 degrees Celsius. Once it's done, it should bounce back nicely like this, and it should be separated from the pan. You're going to just poke some holes in it. This is only if you want to use the drizzle. Let's make a glaze. We're going to use 1 to 2 tablespoons of juice, 15 to 30 milliliters to 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, which is about 62 grams, and we're going to mix it together until we get a nice consistency like this. We're going to set that aside, and we're going to pour the juice on very slowly. 1/4 of a cup is what you're going to get, about 60 milliliters from that juice of the lemon and the orange. And you're just going to pour it into those holes until it soaks in nicely. Use a spatula to loosen up the edges because the juice tends to make it stick to the pan. And you're going to lift it out carefully. Once you do that, you're going to let it cool another 5 to 10 minutes before you put on the drizzle. And it should come out pretty easily, especially if you use the parchment paper. You can skip this drizzle topping if you like completely. I often do because I find that it's way sweet enough, but this just helps it look a little bit prettier, and some people really like sugar on their cake. So I will leave that up to you on whether or not you want to use it. And you can also double the amount and use as little as much as you like. It will look like this. Once it's completely cool, let's cut into it and let you see what it looks like. I think it's a wonderfully tasting cake. My husband thinks it's amazing. He likes it actually more than I do. Look how pretty this is. Now I'm going to cut in a little bit further so you can see what happens where you poke the holes in, so you don't get surprised by it. Well, it's not there yet. I know that there's one right here, so I'm going to cut right on that line where there was a hole poked. And you're going to see right here at the edge, see how there's a hole going all the way through the cake? That's okay. That's where you poke the skewer. So don't worry if you see that, that's to be expected. It's still a light, fluffy, and tender cake. You're going to enjoy this. Visit us at jacksonsjob.com for more recipes, and as usual, happy baking.